Welcome back to the Maladjusted Monkeys podcast. Second episode of the week, episode 18. Aren't you guys lucky? Shane?
Sure.
You're back. Welcome. Thanks for having me again.
No troubles.
And we've got the lovely Madison back as well, finally.
Hello.
Although she might have to get up and vomit at some point.
Yeah, that morning sickness is really kicking her around, but I'm glad you're here, Madison.
Thank you.
We forced you to get out of bed and do this because we need our producer here. And today we've got a guest. I know him from our time in Afghan when I first met him in 2012 and consider him one of my best mates still, Matt Hobbs.
Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is.
Yeah, well,
Thanks for having me, I guess.
It could be afternoon because sound check.
Yeah.
It is afternoon. Sound check took about 2
morning
fucking
when we
hours.
started, and now we've been here for a while.
Well, it just didn't feel the same, so I thought I'd tinker this morning, just mess shit up, so it took me a little bit to get it working.
Well, yeah, we did episode 17, and I can't remember if I spoke about it on the episode, but said, it was weird to walk in, everything's good to go, Shane's on point, walk in, record the episode, and I said, this is the benchmark now, this is how we do it, walk in today, and everything is fucked up again.
I think with each mic added, the potential for fuck-ups just goes up.
But, hey,
It's the excuses.
that's the excuse. But hey, we're here, we're doing it, and it's good, and it's good to have you, Matt. Obviously, like I said, mate, we know each other from our time in the army when we met in 2012.
Yep.
Met just prior to our deployment.
Yep.
When we met, I think I was a very angry man because I kind of was getting fucked over and got put into a unit with you.
Yeah, into, what were we? OTG?
Something like that. OGA, OTG, something like that.
Winning hearts and minds.
Pretty much. And boy, did we.
Whoa.
And we're continuing to do that
Still
today.
doing it now, to this day.
But mate, just so, obviously there's a lot of people who don't know. Can you just give us a bit of a background of where you've come and how long you were in the military and what you did?
All right, so I spent the last 6 years of my military career in transport.
Yep.
So I was driving the old Max and Mogs and all that around for the first couple of years of my transport career, and then I got switched over to the PMVs as they were getting it taken away from the Cav and you little gruntlets and given to us. So I was part of the first load of transports to go through. They were still doing it down the School of Armour then at artillery. So there was me and another truckie there and a whole bunch of combat services. So we copped the whole Pogue thing for a month on that, which was all a bit of fun, but yeah, at the end of the day, and it was good. And then I got moved into the PMV, which is how I ended up on that trip with you, because they were looking for PMV drivers. And I was lucky enough to have my name in the ring, have my security clearances, and
Good to go.
Got the call up and part of a ragtag bunch that drove PMVs for 6 months over there. The misfits.
We were the misfits. So that was 2012. How many deployments have you done all up?
3.
So you've done 3, and that was in a space of 6 years.
Yep.
Fuck, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's
jealous.
Yeah, I'm very jealous. Yeah.
One was just Timor wasn't really that much.
So where did you deploy to? Or what were your 3 deployments?
Timor, Afghan, and Iraq.
Okay.
So I did.
That's a
Afghan
trifecta.
I did Afghan with you, and then I did Iraq 2014 to 2015.
Yep. And then you got out after that trip?
Yeah, I got out at the end of 2016.
Okay. All right. So you were in for 6 years, did 3 deployments. Most would consider that a pretty good bloody military career, pretty good run. How do you reflect on that time?
There's a lot of right place, right time sort of thing. The PMV one with yourself was right place, right time.
Yep.
I was doing a radio course for the PMVs, that BCM thing.
Yep.
And then I was with a bunch of artillery guys, and they got a phone call from their RSM saying, hey, you're getting taken off this course. 3 RAR need PMV drivers, and all your names got put forward. And then the RSM asked one of the other guys in the course, there any other drivers there that have a license and aren't part of the Orbat or whatever they used to call it. And they looked at me and I went, I don't know anything about it. So I ended up speaking to the RSM of the Arty boys there in Brisbane. And he said, who's your RSM? I told him, got a phone call. 10 minutes later, I got a phone call from IOC saying, you're off the course, come back, we got some news for you. And I think 3 days later, I was on a plane to Townsville to start doing our pre-deployment training.
Fucking hell.
So it was
That's quick, eh?
pretty quick, but that was
quick.
3 months before we went away. So I was up there for a fair bit of time, doing it all, and a lot of sitting around. A lot of you going, you're not going. We don't need you anymore. Sit in the transport yard, and then at the end of the day, I end up going. So not as quick as the Iraq trip, but still pretty quick.
How long were you in Iraq for?
6 months.
Okay.
6 months. So I was sitting. The Iraq was pretty much quicker because I was up at 3 Sisby in Townsville then, and got we were the online unit. So we, CISB being the combat support battalion that it is. Or SASB.
Some would say the tip of the spear.
The blunt end of the spear, if anything.
The handle.
Maybe the rusty bit at the back or something. And we're up there, and I was part of it. I was in the PMV platoon up there as a crew commander then, because I'd done my crew commander's course, and we were the online unit, and that was just when old ISIS, or ISIS, I like to call them.
Those scallywags.
Hey?
Cheeky buggers.
Decided to start ripping through Iraq, and the old does from down in Sydney got deployed, and they needed some PMV drivers to go.
So you attached to 2 Commando?
Attached to 2 Commando for that. So I got a phone call on Wednesday night from my boss, and she asked me to come in. And I said, "Oh, you're going to have to send the duty vehicle because I've had a few beers and I can't drive." as you do.
Typical.
And you're the operator we need to be attached to Special Forces.
Again, tip of the spear, CISB. If you've ever been to a CISB, you know you drink most nights. So, but yeah, and she was and ahhing, and then she said, "No, don't worry about it. Just come in first thing tomorrow morning." So I got called in first thing tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, sorry. I went in there straight to the OC's office. A section of us there were told that to pack our bags and be ready to go Friday. So the next day to fly down to Sydney. Sorry.
That quick?
That quick? No, sorry. They told us Thursday, get ready to go. You're flying Saturday.
Yep.
So Friday we had to get ready, and so obviously I got my partner Grace at home. She's a bit freaking out, and then Saturday comes. We did the whole goodbye at home, which can probably be a bit such short notice can be a good thing and a bad thing.
Yep.
Affected us both pretty bad, and then we got there and said, "Oh no, you're not leaving until Sunday now." So we went through that whole roller coaster of emotions, ready to go, and then ended up going on Sunday down to Sydney. Spent a week in Sydney with the does, learning what they do. They sort of treat us pretty well, actually. Showed us a few stuff.
Yep.
And then got sent to Dubai. Stayed at Camp Bard. I think it's called now, Bard or Bard.
No idea.
Yeah, I stayed there for about a lot longer than they wanted us to. And we finally got sent into Iraq just before Christmas.
Jeez.
So we left in October and came back in February.
Yep.
So Christmas, New Year's, Australia Day. First wedding anniversary I was away for, and it was all the space of 3 days. So it's a pretty quick trip, good trip. Would I do it again? Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
100%.
what most guys say anyway, what we've talked about before. Yeah. So like I said, like 6 years, 3 deployments, all different theatres of war. That's pretty successful, but as you know, we know from me talking to you, the issues you had weren't from the military, it's when you got out.
Yeah. So I'm out now. I've been out for 4 years, 2016.
Yep.
So there was a bit of... It ended on a bad note between me and the Army, which a bit jaded, which I know...
Common theme.
And the most jaded me, unfortunately, because I ended on my career at 6 RAR.
Our old unit.
So your old unit. So, and obviously deploying with you guys and knowing you for a while, you talked like 6 RAR was a place to be to start off with, not so much when you've finished your career.
Yep.
And...
Still love you guys, though. I still love 6. Got a place in my heart.
Still good, but it was just a different world when I got there to 6 RAR. And the way, again, a good chain of command, like with any job, you got a good chain of command. You got a good work environment. And we had an old grunt CSM running admin company.
Okay.
He didn't like us. He was the old school 80s mentality.
Didn't get with the times.
Yep. And then we had also our OC was Q-Store or Rayok or whatever they were, and he wanted us to be the best sort of platoon out there. He wanted us to do what the grunts do and do this and be as good as them. That's not what we do.
Different roles.
We drive
If
trucks.
I wanted to be a grunt, I would have signed up to be a grunt.
I chose to drive my Mack truck. I chose to drive the Mog. I don't want to be one of those dudes getting bumped around the back by me. That's pretty much how it happens. You've all been in the car when the stupid truckie comes to pick you up and bangs you around.
I think that's where my concussion injuries come from. To be honest.
There was a little bit of to and fro there, because like we used to get to jobs, or jobs is the wrong word, like tasks to pick different sections of grunts up, either in the PMVs or the MOGs. And if we got there and the attitude of them guys was good, we'd give them a smooth ride. And we got there, and like everyone's outfield, everyone's hating life, everyone's running on 10 hours sleep.
We're tired, we're hungry.
We're hungry. You guys have been living in the dirt. We've been living in the back of our cars, which you think is great, but it's not, because you guys get in there all wet and muddy and stink it up, and it smells.
You're
like
welcome.
It smells like an old foot, and you're bringing out bits of rat packs that you decide to stick down the seats or something like that. And and I think a bit of like, if we got there and we...
So if this was Uber, you wouldn't give us a 5-star review? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, it depends how your attitude was, mate. And a lot of the guys, they had good attitudes. So there was a lot better attitudes when we came in the PMVs and the old Mogs.
Yeah.
They used to like when we come in pictures up in the PMVs, because they just used to get there and sleep, because most of the moves we did were at night in the PMV, so we'd be up all night driving and you guys would be gonking in the pack. So it was
racked
it
out.
was fine. And then but like back in the days, an old transport warrant also told me that when you're picking up the gruntlets, if they give you attitude, you make it as bumpy as hell. If they're nice to you, you give them a smooth ride. I said,
that makes sense.
You're not helping the cause here at all.
No,
but
that makes sense. I wish that was common knowledge.
Yeah, it's a little secret. I think I've given away.
I never put those two things together.
I've given out a secret now. So yeah, but so as we were talking, we want to
being jaded when
why you got out.
So I think the whole jadedness started when I got back from Iraq.
Yep.
So when we left, obviously, 2014, we had a whole different sort of ranks there. So we had different OC, different sergeant that we had who was really good, and they were also gearing up to go to Afghanistan the next year in 2015, which we were slated on but got pulled off to go to Iraq. And when we got back, we had a new sergeant, a new OC, a new CSM, and the way we got treated when we got back was like the outcasts of the transport troop. And transport troop had changed. We'd gone from having one troop to having two troops, and they didn't talk to us because there's PMVs and normal max and fuels and all that sort of stuff. And we got back, and like, you know, when we got back from Iraq, you'd have all the people meet you at the airport, and you'd have your banners of the sappers and all that, and it was great. And the OC, like my CO and RSM, and all met me at the airport when I got back from Afghan. We got nothing like that at Iraq. We just got out, and there was a dude, because I was up in Townsville, that we got back, and like his family wasn't up there, they were all in Sydney, and there's no one to meet him there and welcome him back, so he had to get in a cab to go back to his lines.
How fucking depressing.
Yeah, and that's like...
So he lived on base?
He lived on base.
Coming home to no one.
Little
room on base.
Little room on base, and he was in those lines where there's like six along, and it all new neighbours and all that sort of stuff. So he didn't know no one and anything like that. So it was a bit rough that way. And then the first notice that I got from my new CSM was a phone call the day after I got back to say, when are you coming back to work?
Jesus Christ.
And I said, mate, I landed last night. And he goes, oh, well, we'll see you tomorrow morning. No, okay. I guess we're going in to do the decompression thing for half a day. No, straight into it. All right, when did you leave? I said, haven't decided yet. We're talking about going away, going to Bali or something. And he's like, well, you need to put your leave in because we're going field in 2 weeks. And I said, no, well, come on. I haven't been away for Christmas, New Year's, first wedding anniversary and all that. And then they're like, oh, well. So I took a week's leave just to miss out on that first shakeout sort of thing.
Yep.
And I got back, and they're like, all right, you're back now? And I said, yeah, but I'm taking leave soon. And they're like, well, there's 4 weeks between now and then. You can still do stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'll do stuff around the yard and outfield. So went from outfield, and they sent me on a course. It's called Trucks Under Trees to get your promotion to corporal. Yeah. Of course, I did that. And then when I was on that, I said, I'm not going outfield, because that was backing onto an exercise, CATA or something it was called.
Yeah.
And I said to my sergeant, no, I'm not going. I can't do it. I'm getting burnt out. I'm over it. And he sent me an email saying, you get back on the Thursday, Friday morning you report to 2RAR, and you'll go up in the shuttle and you'll go up to high range. And that was the real sort of turning point. And even the turning point, even the sergeants that were running the course down at Buckapunyal that were like, no,
what the fuck?
What is fucking going on here? Like, this is just not... You're getting shunned. You've pissed someone off.
Yeah.
You've kicked his dog and not known it or something like that. And I'm like, yeah. So that all... I didn't end up going because the sergeant down there put me in contact, who actually helped me out a lot down there, put me in contact with the... not the priest, what are they called?
Padre.
Padre.
Yeah.
And I just told him, and he goes, yeah, no, that's unfair, rah, rah, rah. And then they sent it up to the RSM of the School of Trucks down there, and he ended up emailing 3 Sisby's RSM, who knew nothing about it.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's the RSM. I'm
Yeah.
Lance Jack and all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. And then it filtered down a day or two later, and then I got an email back from my sergeant going, oh, no, you're not needed outfield anymore.
Yeah.
because
How
of-
convenient.
Yeah.
How convenient.
Yeah.
And because of that email, when they got back from field, I was tasked with I got so many Sunday duties. I got do this. Like there was a parade for whatever. There's a lot of parades up in Townsville for the various things. I was tasked with either running the cataflag party or running the transport for the vets and all that, which I don't mind doing. It's a good thing to do. Like doing a cataflag party is something that if you get the chance, you do it.
Yeah.
Normally on Anzac Day or something special, it's good. But to be stabbed for every
Continuously.
single one, and
Yeah.
then you get a weekend off, I know you're Sunday duty. Because
Yep.
Sunday's the worst day.
Were you the only one from your unit that had just come back from that deployment?
No, there was the whole section of us.
Yep.
So
were
I
they all experiencing this?
They were all experiencing the same things. A lot of them...
So what? Yeah, it wasn't as if you'd inadvertently done something to someone.
No,
or,
it was like we had all as a group done something to someone.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
were all getting felt like you were all getting punished.
Yeah, all getting
that
punished
group.
for it. Like, and I found that the corporal, because I was a lonely little Lance Jack then, the corporal we had came back and then just shunned us.
Yeah.
He started looking after himself and not looking after the boys still. And I'm like,
Yeah.
here we go. And a bunch of diggers. And 2 of them ended up going down the psych path
Yep.
to get out. One just sucked it up
Yeah.
and just got on with life,
Yep.
sort of thing. He just sort of, it is what it is. Another discharged 2 weeks after that sort of thing. So it was like it was a common theme. And then my posting was up that year, and they were trying to give me my second hook and send me down to Pucker as part of the training command.
Yeah.
Training
Oh.
down. I'm like, nah, I'm not going down there to teach 17-year-olds how to drive Mack trucks. That's not what I want to do. It's not something I'm interested in. And they turned around and said, well, Kapuka. And I went, again?
You're not listening to me.
You're not listening to what I wanted. At this stage, the wife was pregnant and the first boy was my only boy, sorry, not the first one, the only one, was due in July the following year. So I wanted to get to Brisbane because she's from Brisbane. She got family up here. If I'm away with the army, she can lean on all her family, her mum, her aunties. My parents are a bit closer to where we were. And then, I was arguing. I was saying, I want to go to Brisbane. I don't care where in Brisbane. You can send me to Amberley. You can send me to any unit in Brisbane. I'm not doing a training command. So came back with the posting. You're giving you your second hook. You're going to Pucker. Well, I'm going to see you my discharge.
Yeah. Regular discharge.
And they were like, oh, well, you're not bluffing. No, I'm not bluffing. I don't want to go to a training command. I said, give me another 3 years at a unit.
Yep.
And then after that, we'll reassess. And if I have to go to a training command, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I had no intention of going to training command. I was going to see out that posting and then run for the hills. And then, after to and fro and all that, they finally got me the posting back at 6 RER. And, just...
Isn't it funny how...
Yeah.
No, you can't... There's no other way to do it. And then you throw the discharge. Oh, actually,
we
come up
found
at
this
6 hour
random...
Brisbane.
And it was still a corporal position too. They're like, we might not be able to find you a corporal position. You might have to stay a Lance Corp. I'm like, sweet. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's responsibility.
Yeah, and then they found me a corporal position at 6 RER, so they promoted me and sent me there. And then I got there and I was the new corporal with the new sergeant, a new Tokwo. Sergeant was terrible. He had no idea. He just like I don't like speaking ill of people. But you just look at people and go, how did you ever get there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
One
Like
of
we've
them.
all seen it.
Yep.
You don't really speak about it, and then he was one of those dudes where they promote him to get him out of certain positions.
Yeah.
Yep. No, exactly.
And so he wasn't very good. Again, the one of the other corporals was just a bag, just bin juice, you know. Like,
Bin juice.
Again, I don't like to talk bad about people, but he got done for.
So you use the phrase bin juice. It's so good.
Yeah. Like a bin turkey.
No,
like
I
a
got
bush
you.
turkey. Bin turkey. Is
No, I
that
got
better? And then so it was all good. All the diggers and the Lance corporals were all good, but I was just over it from what had happened for that last 6 months. That grudge has grown, and then it was a lot.
Prior to all that stuff happening, were you considering even discharging when you got back, or were you just thinking, I'm happy to keep cruising with Army, or...
I was 50-50.
Yeah.
I was happy to keep cruising, but then in the back of my mind, I had my wife was pregnant, and I had my first one on the way, and the same sort of thing that you've probably going to lull over your head to come is, do I want to be that dude that drags their kid around every 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, say we went, like if I'd be going to Victoria, it's a different state.
Yep.
And then if I got sent back to Brisbane, different state.
Yeah.
And if I stayed in, he'd be school years, and then we go to New South Wales, I'd go to Papuka, different state, and get sent around state by state, which is fine if it was just me and the wife.
Yeah.
But that was lulling over in my head.
So, yeah, as soon as you throw a child into that mix.
You throw a child in that mix, and I was sort of umming and ahhing. That's why I wanted to post into Brisbane, so I could have he'd be 3 years old and then reassess what's going on.
Yeah.
And because it was the last sort of 5 to 6 months before she was ready to pop. And I said to the CS, the first thing I walked in, the sergeant said, I need time off between July and August because that's when my first child's being born. He's like, yep, that's fine. And then I told the Tocquo as well, I said, I need time off. He said, yeah, that's fine. Yep, we'll blank you out for that period because that's when all the, obviously the big exercises happens and all that sort of stuff around that time. So, and then I went for my wife was having a scan, and the only person I could find of any rank was the CSM. And I said, I can't do this. I got to go for my wife's scan. He goes, what scan? I said, whatever, 6-month scan or whatever it was. He goes, I've had 3 kids and I've never been to one scan. And I went, well,
fucking good on you, mate.
Cool. Sweet.
I bet his wife loves that.
That's cool.
I wonder if he's divorced.
That was my first wife. My second wife.
I haven't seen none of them either. And and yeah, that was it. That sort of just, I went, well, that's cool, but I don't want to be that dad. Like, if I can be there, I want to be there.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, you can't go. And I'm like, oh, righto, here we go. And I stormed out, and
Grace would have loved that.
yeah, well, she didn't know because as it being one of the Ramey dudes we went to Iraq with, he got promoted to warrant officer at the 6 RAR vehicle thing, and he saw me blowing up walking out, and he's like, oh, Corporal Hobbs, I need you to come down to the Ramey shed in an hour. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, sir. Thanks. Fucking dick me with that too. Helping the Ramey out because Ramey and Transport get along so well. And I started walking out. He's like, oh, Hobbsy, wait up. He goes, you don't need to come down. I'm just saying you're with me so you can go see your scan.
Oh, mad
Good dude.
And I'm like, yes, thank you, sir. But then I said, well, what's the thing? He goes, yeah, no, just unfortunately that's what you got to deal with. And I was like, I can't do 3 more years of this. I can't have, like, he was going to be born in July. He was born in July, so that would have been around the time that all the Talisman Sabres, Tass Sabres and Hamel and all that's on.
All the big X's.
The big X's where I wouldn't be there for a birthday, or if I was there, I'd be very lucky. And then that was it. So I got out. I put my discharge in 10 days after he was born. So I took my 10 days carers leave, came back in, submitted another leave app for more carers leave, and then topped it off with my discharge after that. With
how was that received?
The Tocquo knew it was coming. He was more than understanding because he was the one that the 6 month of issues we were having, I was talking to him a lot. The sergeant wasn't even there. I didn't even tell him. Which then he proceeded to have a go at me about, and I'm like, well, who are you? Like, really? Who are you? The Tocquo was good. He said he should do the same. He regrets not doing it for his kid who was 16 at the time then. So, So yeah, it was good. And then I put the discharge in, got home, told Grace, and then she said, what are you going to do? And
Shit.
Right, so
you hadn't even
like started.
I had some ideas in my head about what sort of path I wanted to go down. And
how old are you at this time?
34.
Okay.
34, so mid-30s. We'll say mid-30s.
Yeah. 30s, yep.
Still mid-30s now. But, and it's like, oh, shit, what do you do now? What am I good at? I don't want to drive a truck. Because if I start doing interstate stuff, I'm going to be away just as much as the Army. If I do what 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 people do from the logistics courses, go to the mines. One, I don't have a trade behind me, so I can't fix them. And again, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off.
Yeah, you're
3 and
away.
1. It's good money, but I'm still away. I might as well stay in the Army.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, God, so what do I want to do? And then I sort of started with my sort of corporal background of, what is it called? Transport Manager's course. Where you do scheduling and all sort of stuff, old school way on paper. And then I said, well, I want to get into logistics. Logistics is where I want to be. And then I worked out how hard it actually is to get into logistics from there. So the issue that I think I found the hardest was everyone, when you're in the Army, people tell you that employers love people from the Army.
I remember hearing that.
They do. But if you don't have the qualifications they want,
you're in the same boat.
You're the same boat as everyone else.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't... Like, I went for a job interview that I didn't end up getting. I was going up against dudes with 2 degrees.
Yeah.
How do you compete with that?
Yeah, here's my bit of paper.
Yeah. And it's
You know? What have you got? You got an army course that in civvy life doesn't
even translate.
Doesn't even translate. They leave little bits out, so they don't give you the full qualification.
So all your qualifications from transport, driving all the heavy vehicles.
Yeah, I got my heavy rigid, which
that doesn't transfer over.
It does.
It does. That one does.
They've changed all the rules now, but I got it in beforehand. But then again, you get your heavy rigid, and it only means you can drive a truck.
Yeah.
And truckies don't get paid that well.
Yeah.
And all do the truckies. You either love it or you don't. And a lot of people who go to the army and drive the trucks, drive the road trains, drive the fuelies, and they love it.
Yeah.
That's their bag of chips, and that's good. If I wanted to drive, I would be driving. But then to have your heavy rigid on your license and not use it costs you like $230 a year. What's the point of that? So I'm back to a normal car license now because it wasn't being used. And then you get a few, like when you do your transport manager's course, it goes towards a TAFE course in logistics management or something, which now that's been erased because of a uni degree that you need to do in logistics.
Did you get much during your transition after you put your discharge in? Did you get much in the way of guidance in what you were entitled to get in terms of like doing courses or that Army would pay for, or transferring some of your courses that you had done if there were conversion courses or anything like that? Did you get much guidance on that when you were leaving?
I got guidance on transferring my Army driver's codes to civilian, because that's what I did. I did that. The grunts used to come to me and I used to have to do all the paperwork to help them out, and then 9 times out of 10 they'd get kicked back because they weren't discharging. And you really you got a medium rigid license, mate. That's like a big car, so you know what I mean. And then I did it myself, and then they do, you go see the transitions guy and he's just pumping out hot air to me. He was like, call these guys, they'll help you out. And you call them and you go sit in a room with 30 other people and they just give you a broad thing. I did probably do this, ring this number, ring this. So you ring all these people, like, we can help you out, just come in for an interview, we'll have a chat. And they have a chat and they go, all right, we'll see what we can do. Nothing at all.
Yeah, right.
Or get in contact with this recruiter. And you're like, okay. Okay, so I work for this recruitment company. We've got nothing on at the moment, but if we have something, we'll let you know. And so there's different sort of. I didn't really take it too much.
How long was it? So once after you finally, like, what is it? With 3 month waiting period at the time. So put your discharge in. You got to wait your 3 months before you can even get out. It's like a cool off period and getting all the admin squared away. So once you discharged, how long did it then take before you got steady work?
So I got steady work in November that year.
Okay.
So I used that 3 months. I didn't spend very much time in the army. I was still in the army, but I wasn't there. Because at that time you can always do the old I'm going to look for work, or I've got an interview, or I've got to go talk to this person. They normally don't really care because you're just sitting around the yard smoking cigarettes, or you're just not there. You know what I mean? So they don't really care.
And they know that.
And I did use that time myself out there trying to get work. And what I did find work in was heavy vehicle tyre changing.
Okay.
So, which, the end of the day, isn't that glamorous, but it's work.
So you went straight from when you discharged was good to go and you were out?
Yep.
Straight into that?
Straight into that.
Yep.
So I had a time that I started there a day after I got my official discharge.
Oh, okay. Right.
So then I did all the meetings and all that sort of stuff while we were going through all the things. So I got 2 weeks leave and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So how was that going straight from a military environment into a civilian environment? Similar kind of work, I'd imagine, because you're around vehicles and stuff like that.
Yeah, similar kind of work, but again different. It's kind of hard to explain with that sort of job because it's still a bloke's world.
Yeah.
It's you get, like the army was, but it's all changing now due to everything. But you still have that banter with the guys, and the dude that run it was the manager was an ex airfield defence guard, so he sort of ran it a bit Air Force stuff.
Yeah,
I knew they'd get a race out of you.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. That'll be another episode. We bag them out. I think we have before. Anyway.
Yeah, but it was all good because we were in a shed. There was only 5 of us working there. We all got around, all sort of joked and did as little work as possible as you do when you're on barracks in the army, sort of thing.
Yep.
But it was like they were all younger than me. Like me being mid-30s, they were all 21, 22, 19, sort of their first job straight out of school.
Yep.
And they were like their bodies were a lot more agile than mine would say. They don't have 30 years of back and knee and playing contact sport and all that sort of stuff. So I did that, but in the same sort of mind, I was like, well, I don't really want to work in a hot shed, or because it was out of Waco, summer like 45 degrees in the shed, and I was like, I don't want to work in a hot shed all my life. I want to be in the office in the aircon, but I want to stay in the logistics side of things. So that's when I started looking into the scheduling for trucks and transport and all that sort of stuff, which again, people go, oh, that'd be a pretty high stress job and pretty quick. It is, and that's what I wanted. I wanted something a bit like quick paced, so
more engaging.
You sit down,
the day goes quicker.
You've got problems to solve. Every day's different, still the same job, but every day's different. You've got different issues every day, and that was a very hard industry to crack into. So did a lot of, again, people wanted to chat to me in interviews because they saw Army, they saw what I was doing, what I'd done, and a lot of them were just chatting to me about like the Army and what was it like in Afghan. Yeah, cool. I'll tell you about
Tell us a war story.
Yeah, I'll tell you about this and the beer on a Friday after you give me the job. You know what I mean?
More, mate, if you like that story, wait till you employ me. I've got heaps of them.
Heaps more. And then again, a lot of them would ring you, or they get their secretary to ring you, oh, you're just not what we're looking for. And some wouldn't even get in contact.
And that comes down to what we're saying with the qualifications?
Yeah.
So
one dude was honest with me. He goes, mate, I'd love to give you the job. You got the right attitude. You're all good. But when I take you and this guy to my general manager, he's going to choose this dude because he's got 3 degrees.
Yeah.
And 2 of them in logistics and one is in, like, I don't know, foreign language studies or something random.
Yeah.
What do I got? Like, Army. I've been Afghan. I can dig a hole. I can drive a truck, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I was sort of bumbling away there, and then I finally got a sort of break with a removals company. I won't mention the removals company because they it was a bit of a dodgy situation that happened there. So I started with them mid-year, and technically with removals was the end of the year is your busy time. Obviously all the government workers are moving, everyone's sort of moved in summer rather than winter, like no one's out looking at houses and stuff like that. And they started me mid-year, and then you get a 6 months probation. So they used me for the busy part of the year, and then came to the end of my 6 months, made up a cock and ball story, and showed me they weren't going to continue my employment. So what they did, they wanted someone for a 6 month contract, but instead of paying me the contract wages, which is a lot more than just your normal wages, they just said they weren't going to keep me after that. And then from what he told me when he let me go to the I think you saw the... I think I rung you that night. I was pretty drunk and pretty upset that night. That was a bit of a low point to be told that. And then he said, he goes, I'll give you a reference, whatever you want. I said, mate, I don't care. I just need a job. And he wrote me this glowing reference, which totally contradicted why he got rid of me. And then came out later, and that's what they did, which is well within the law, but it's still like it's
still not right
dodgy,
by you.
Dodgy thing to do.
So this whole period now, that's 6 months out of the military?
Yeah, 6 months out of the military. So it took me 6 months of changing tyres on dirty, dusty job sites in the shed, which was great fun. Loved it. Any young kids out there want to break their backs, go and do it. Get paid good money to do it in the mines. But, and then I finally got the office job. Monday to Friday, home on the weekends, home every night. No guard on a Sunday. No getting a phone call saying saying you're on a plane in 3 days sort of thing. No counting down the weeks till you go away for 6 weeks sort of thing. So it was good, and I got it. And then, that happened. That happened just January of 2017, I think it was. Something like that, because we were still at Springfield. And, so then the only job I could get in the middle of summer was scaffolding. So because I was...
Fuck that.
Yeah, so that was a really, really low point for me.
So how are you dealing mentally, like, at this stage?
It took me a bit, because it still took me a couple of weeks to get over, to find this normal, low-key, lackey job. You know, because I was still looking for back to get into the logistics thing, because I was like, oh, okay, so I've got a bit of experience in scheduling now. I'll get snapped up.
Yeah.
No. Not the case.
No one hires at the start of the year. No one's looking to hire January, February, March, because you're just starting back up after Christmas and sorting everything out. And it's pretty low. I think we had a few conversations about stuff that time over the phone, and a lot of drinking going on. A lot of drinking myself to sleep and just feeling absolutely miserable, which isn't good. Having a young one around, like he's only 6-7 months then. He didn't really know what was going on, but he knew something was happening, something was changing.
How was it between you and Grace at that time? I know her. She's very supportive. As is.
She was, I think, still off work on maternity leave, so we still had some money coming in.
Okay. Yep.
But it wasn't a lot, and like you got a newborn, you got all these other bills coming in.
Just stress.
Just stressed out of the eyeballs, and didn't help. And then this job came along, so I started doing the old scaffolding in the middle of summer, which would just destroy you. It's carrying around hot bits of metal, 38-degree days out West Brisbane, which is not nice. And I'd come home and I'd be stuffed. And then we'd have the arguments of who's going to look after Ethan, my son. Well, I'm stuffed. I've been out all day. I just want to lay on the couch. Well, I've been looking after him all day and he hasn't slept, sort of thing. So you're passing it off and you're starting having arguments and sort of fights about that sort of stuff. And then the money issue comes up because we weren't getting paid as much as I was in the army, which is another thing I think a lot of people take for granted, is the actual wage.
Because you got to try and take into account all the benefits we're getting, like housing, medical, dental, all those things. You got to try and factor that into your
it's not just
how much you need when you get out.
Your base wage. So I don't know, like the DHA house gets taken straight out of your wage.
Yeah, you don't even realise it.
So you don't even have to worry about it.
Nah.
You know,
and so at that point you're going, oh fuck, rent's cheap. I don't know what everyone's worried about, because you don't realise that defence housing, like you said, you're getting taken out, and then as soon as you get in the civvy life, you're like, what the fuck? Is this much a week?
Yeah, what? I don't for this.
Yeah,
for this house.
Like when I told the story in one of our old episodes, the first time I went to a dentist outside of military, and they gave me the bill. I'm like, what the fuck? Isn't it free? You know what I mean?
Here's my defence ID.
Yeah, I'm like, does this still work?
Yeah,
is this good here?
It's funny because you keep when you're talking about like just little things that I've never even thought about, because I've always gotten jobs either with my family and the businesses they've owned, or straight into the army. So I'm pretty lucky like that. I've never really had to go out and hand out resumes or do anything like that. So like people don't hire at the start of the year and stuff like that. Things I wouldn't have thought of that either. Looking for a job, I think that's why I'm so institutionalized.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Were you just finding, mate, like every day was just a grind, like on the job seeker world? Before you would find a job, you'd wake up going, fuck, is today going to be the day I get one, or am I going to get knocked back again?
Yeah, so like, because now everything's online, there's not a lot of phone calls, everything comes from like your Seek and all that. So I was sending out every job just to find work. Before I got that scaffolding job, just to find work, I was sending maybe 20 to 30 my resume to people, and you'd hear back from maybe 2% of them. Yeah, and the ones you did hear back was either come in for an interview and you'd be cool, or they'd ring you and go, hey, do you have this qualification? No, oh, sorry, we're looking for someone with this. Or it'd be a recruitment firm ringing you going, hey, I'm from whatever, we think you need to do this Cert 3 course, so go do it for 6 weeks. You don't get paid, and we'll try and find you work after it. Well, I get it. At the end of the day, you get a certificate 3 in warehousing or whatever. But that's 6 weeks. I can't go without money coming in, because we were still getting money for the for Grace being on maternity leave, and that took away all your Centrelink bonuses. I couldn't get the doll, basically, because we still earned too much.
Had you saved much of your deployment money?
No.
No.
So the Afghan went on a car, as
discussed. Refer to previous episode.
Yeah, refer to previous episode about that one, and the rest of that one went on the wedding. Yep, which you were also a part of.
Yep, good times.
So, yep, good times. So you knew how much alcohol and food and everything, and the place we had and money we spent on that. Yep, which was good. It was.
Well, I don't know. I just drank it and stayed there. But
we picked you up at the airport and you drank and got a free accommodation for a weekend.
Yeah, no, it's good. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. And just always smiling in the back of the photos too.
Yeah. And then what about Iraq?
Well, all the pays had changed when we went to Iraq. Yep. It was all up and down because we were the first Australian troops back in Iraq at that point. Yep. Because the ISIS doing their thing. Like, I drove the second PMV off the C-17 Herc back into Iraq and sort of stuff like that. So we weren't really there, and they were still trying to work out the wages, and then they were arguing, and it was a change of government as well.
That's right, because they changed all the deployment money from what we were getting. It all got scaled right back.
Yeah, saving money.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and also you got Grace at home, and she's sort of in Townsville, no family around. She still had friends in a close little community up there, and then she decided we had a new colour theme for the house, sort of thing. So
good.
So we went from having no colour theme to coming back to purple, sort of thing. So everything was sort of getting replaced and updated. Like we got new couches, new TVs, and all that. And we also did the whole. Her friends had a wedding in Bali, so we went, instead of going just for 4 days, we went for 10 days, and that's where you just sort of being Bali, it's Bali. You just sort of
Yeah.
spent money
Yep.
willy-nilly, and you didn't really think about it. And everything we did have sort of hidden away in the background went pretty quick once season.
So you're pretty much starting from scratch again.
Pretty much
living
starting
pay to
from
pay.
scratch again. Not yet. You pretty much, because I wasn't also expecting the shock of the more financial burden that was for getting out of the army, as we spoke about with like rental assistance, DHA, your medical, and just having like you get a set wage you get every fortnight as well, so you can budget. But when you're working casually, one week you may work 38 hours, next week you may work 20, you may work 50. You know what I mean? It goes up and down. It's hard to sort of fluctuate. But I think the biggest thing was rent. You're like, I'm paying this much. For what? And then and like my wage in the army where I was nowhere near what I was getting as well. So I lost money. I lost about 15 to 20 grand a year just there alone, and that's just sort of with a new kid on the way and all that sort of So you're sort of starting from scratch a bit there.
So bring it back to where you were at the scaffolding. How long were you doing that for?
I was doing that for about 6 weeks.
Okay.
6 weeks.
And then what came after that?
So I was still applying for jobs, and then I got a phone call from another removals company because they had seen I had the experience.
Okay.
With this one, they called me in for an interview, and their question was, well, why were you only here for 6 months?
Yeah.
And I said, because he let me go. And they're like, why? I said, and I told them what happened, and then they said, oh, have you got a reference from him? And I showed him the reference, and they both looked at each other and went, this dude fired you and gave you this reference.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah. I said, he goes, you know what they did? And that's when they told me, instead of paying me a 6-month contract for the busy period, they just put me on probation for 6 months.
Yep.
So I started working for this removals company, doing the same sort of thing with the commercial world. So office removals and stuff like that, which was good. But the company just, not to speak ill of the company, good bunch of blokes that work there, but just minimum wage and worked you very hard.
Yeah.
So especially not just the guys on the road, like lugging around the furniture, which is a hard trade. Like anyone who wants to be a furniture removalist, I take my hat off to.
Oh, every time I move place, I think that like it's always the first item I'm taking out of the truck. I'm like, fuck this.
Yeah, like
there's normally a lamp as well, and I'm like, fuck this.
So it's, over the course of this period that you've been changing jobs and stuff, are you regretting leaving army at all during this?
There was a bit when I think I spoke to you. I'm regretting about leaving the army. There was the bits out there where I'm lugging around hot bits of fucking metal. Yeah. Scaffolding with the Kiwi brethren that we've got speaking their own Kiwi language, and me being this skinny white guy, and I'm carrying 2 planks, they're carrying 8 planks, sort of thing. Keep up, white boy. Sorry, sort of thing. And and I was just like, fuck this. I could be in the army sitting on my ass smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
Did you consider going back in?
I did consider going back in. One night when I was drinking, I actually got the old laptop out, and this isn't going where you think it's going.
Autoerotic asphyxiation.
No one come in here.
No one come in. Vacuum in my room. I bring up the old defense website, and I sort of sat there and I was typing and I was getting the double vision. You know, that's how drunk I was on a Wednesday night, so it was a bad time. And I went, you know what, I'm going to do this in the morning. Yeah. And I woke up, and the next day I had to go to work, so I had to scaffold hungover in the heat. So I sobered up, and the hungover got out pretty quick. And I got home that night, and I opened the laptop back up, and I sat there, and went, no. Still the reasons I got out. Yeah. Still overpower going back in. Right. And the main one was the son. Like, I wanted to be there for him. Even though I was scaffolding, I was drinking excessively. I wouldn't start drinking until he went to bed. So I still got to see him, still got to spend time with him. Tried my best to spend time with him, being absolutely stuffed sort of thing. And even though it was a ship job, it still paid the rent, it still put food on the table, and it was still at home. Where the army, I could be sent anywhere as well. I didn't want to up and leave and sent to Darwin, or they'd go, oh, guess what? You're off to Kapuka. Well, then I'll never be home, sort of thing. So there was that time that I thought about going back in, and looking back on it, I'm glad I didn't. Yeah. Like a lot of people do it, like yourself. Yep. I know a lot of people still today, like people that I was in with, they've got out, couldn't find anything, their expectations didn't meet what the outside world is. Yeah. And they sort of get back in.
It might be the same for you, but I found like probably the biggest reason that happened, like that I even got back in, was just not being prepared, not preparing myself properly for the life on that outside, and not doing enough research into like what it was I wanted to do. then getting the skills that I needed to do what it was I wanted to do.
Yeah, that's
and then like I think tied in for that, I don't know if it was the same for you, but like my own issues, psychological issues as well, like compounding all of that, increasing my drinking and things like that. So yeah, I think that's like a big lesson that's coming out of your story is like how much you really need, like it's to think about before you throw that deal on the table, is just get yourself prepped
like
and
you
ready
need to, you need to, if anything, you need to have a plan.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really have a plan. I thought it all just fall into place. Like
Yeah.
I was going to be a scheduler. That was it, easy. Straight in, they'll see the army thing. I'll get in. Not that easy. Like you need to have a plan. You need to at least, I reckon, a year before you want to get out. You need to decide, hey,
start putting things
I
in
want to
place.
get out, but I want to do this.
Yep.
And then you need to work out what steps you need to take to get to that point.
Yeah.
Which is something I didn't do, which is something I regret not doing. Otherwise, it would have made life a bit more easier. But at the end of the day, we all learn from our mistakes.
Yeah.
So that's it. You gotta have a plan in place. And like even if you want to get out and you want to go be a school teacher.
Yeah.
I need a 4-year degree. So the degree starts in February, but I still need to have money while I'm doing that degree. You know what I mean? So yeah, you just need to have a plan.
Planning is key.
And the army will always try and keep you in.
Yeah.
As
Like they've invested so much money in you.
so much money in you,
stay.
and as I said, like I put the first discharge on the table, and then a position miraculously opened up where I wanted to go. They'll do whatever they can to keep you in, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And as I said, a lot of people who get out don't have that plan. It all falls to shit, and they end up getting back in.
Yeah.
Well, I find a lot of people, it's the same reason like when we all got out, you get jaded, and you're used to being told, mate, when you get out, you're ex-army. You'll snap up a job like that.
Yeah.
So you got those two things. You're like, I'm fucking over this. I'm done. I can go do anything because I've been told I can do anything. So then you leave, and like I got lucky. I went straight to another government job. But obviously, we all know people that, they got out when we got out, Shane, years ago, and they're still struggling. It's been 7-8 years on.
Yeah.
And they're still going from the casual job to not knowing if they got a job next week. And every time I see them, they're doing something different.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, you need to have a plan.
You need to have a plan. You need to stick to that plan. But yeah, it's like you don't need to know what career you're doing. I don't think. I think you just need to know what your next job is. That you want to do, and you've got to actually. The big one is the financial side of things too. That's something I didn't even take into consideration. That's something I thought wouldn't be as bad as it was, and the finances can have a big strain on all relationships. No matter what you say, finances is the core of a lot of issues.
That's where it starts, and then it just starts.
Then it just starts spreading from there, the cobweb sort of thing. So you just need a plan of what you want to do, what you want to achieve, and then if you achieve that and you don't like it, well then, do whatever you want. But I think a lot of, and then there's also the other side of the coin too. I think a lot of people get back in is because they just miss your mates as well.
100%.
Like I think that's another big thing. It's not just being like institutionalized and employed. It's that fact that you've got the same group of mates there. Like I've found some good mates out of the army, yourself and a lot of other boys. But then there's also a lot of guys that I used to hang out with the army when I was in that I don't even talk to anymore. You know what I mean? And then, and then you're like, well.
Did you find with once you got out, you worked at a couple of different jobs? Did you struggle assimilating with civilians in a different environment compared to the military? Yeah,
not so much the tyre changing and the scaffolding because you're working
Bloke's world, like you said.
Bloke's world. Like you're not being sexist or anything, but there's no female scaffolders. Not that I've seen. I'm sure there is, and I'm sure they're very good at it.
And you're not dealing with customer service.
You're not dealing with customer service.
I'm sure there's heaps of girls out there scrambling trying to get into that industry.
The door's always open. I think they got a pretty high turnaround sort of in there. But in the office world, my first removals job and the second one I had for the second company, and in my job now as well.
So what are you doing now?
So I'm now working for a company called Blacklane. We are a online chauffeur service. So
and how long you been working with them?
Over a year. So I started them last February.
Okay, cool.
So and really happy. Really good company. Everyone I work with, good. Not best friends with everyone I work with, obviously, but everyone we get along with. Good culture there. Good management. Like our hub manager, as it's called, because the Brisbane hub, it's a Berlin-based company, is probably one of the best managers in and out of the army I've ever had. So she honestly cares for each and every single person there, and it shows.
Yeah.
shows. I'm sure it takes a big toll on her, but she doesn't let that show when it comes to work, and it's good.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So get that path getting into this job now, which from the last couple of times I've caught up with you, it sounds like you're now in a stable employment, in a better frame of mind as well.
Yeah.
The path from the scaffolding to where you are now, did it become easier to get to this job, or was it still a rough road and then this kind of just popped up?
It was sort of a rough road.
Yep.
Because as I said, I started with my second removal company. First 6 months, I was busting my ass there because I didn't want to get let go again at 6 months.
Yep.
And I was putting in the overtime. Like my hours was 7:30 till 3:30, 4 o'clock. I was there at 6 o'clock every morning, and I wouldn't leave before 4:30.
Yep.
And they expected that of me, even though like there had been some days where I'd rock up at 7:30, where I was meant to start at 7:30. They're like, "You're late." No, I'm not. Like, oh, you're normally here at 5 a.m. Yeah, I know, because I want to impress you. And then after I got my, you know what I mean? I wanted to keep my 6 months thing going.
Yeah.
After six months employment. And I got there, and then they said, "Yep, no, you're all good." And I said, "Well, let's speak about giving me some more money in my old Skyrocket, because I'm over probation now. I'm doing all this extra work, these hours." Yeah, we'll get to it. Okay, never happened. And then the strain they were putting on me was getting ever more increasing. Like, I'd get phone calls at 9 o'clock at night from a manager about a job, and I didn't answer. He rang me 4 times, and I answered on the 4th one. He said, "Why didn't you answer?" I said, "'Cause it's fucking 9 o'clock at night." I didn't say fucking, obviously, as a manager, but I said, "'Cause it's 9 o'clock at night, mate. Well, we need to sort this job out now. What am I going to do at 9 o'clock at night? I'm not going to drive back into the office where my computer is."
Yeah.
And everything was like that. It was like, because we were in the commercial world, we had to work a lot of out of hours.
Yep.
And even though I'd be in the office at 5 a.m. in the morning to get the morning crew going, they wouldn't let me leave at 1 p.m. I'd still be there at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, I was doing 12, 13-hour days.
God.
Even though it's just, like, it's not physical work, but you're sitting there dealing with all the issues that arise.
Yeah, you're still problem solving.
Still trying to do everything. Commercial world they worked in
Still
was
stress.
Was hotels, so hotel fit outs and all that sort of stuff as well. And and it was all out of hours, and it was just you had the warehouse to run, you had removals, and it was just vehicles and all sorts of stuff, and they just put a lot of strain on me. And when I asked the second time for a pay rise, they bring me in for a meeting, and it just I just got thrown under the bus there. They all attacked me, told me what I should do, what I need to do better, and all this sort of stuff, and that was it. I got jaded at that point.
Yep.
Yeah,
Again, and it got shown by like the dudes in the warehouse and on the road. They knew it. They knew I was burning out. They knew it was over it. And then I started looking for something else. And I was chatting to so I was back on Seek while I was working, just flicking out a few emails, and I got flicked out for another company. And he rang me and said, "Mate, you want to come in for a chat?" And I'm like, "Oh, shit!" I sent out like three resumes in like a 3-week period, not expecting anything back.
Yeah.
And I got something back. And he said, "Oh yeah, come and have a chat." And he was chatting to me. He said, "Yeah, so we work for," this was, what are we in now, 2012, 2019? Yeah, so about the end of 2018. He was there, and he was a little side company that worked for Red Star Transportation. And he offered me a lot of money to do the same sort of job. He said, "You'll only need to work these hours. You're getting paid this much." Shit, all right, sweet. Quit the other place, went here. About 3-4 weeks later, Red Star went belly up.
Oh no.
So his company took a big hit. And then it also got found out that he was running around with the secretary. So that all went belly up as well. Then they sent some dude up from Melbourne who was part of the company. "We don't need you anymore, mate." So back out again. Start of the year.
So you're like mentally
Mentally,
you're
I'm
on
like,
a roller coaster.
I'm up and down.
You get
I'm
a
like,
job, it goes. You
Yeah,
get a job,
this
it
job
goes.
seemed great.
Yep.
But I went in there with like blinders on. I saw the money he was going to pay me, but then I didn't like have a look at the whole sort of establishment. Like it was a warehouse job, but the warehouse was dirty. There was piles of paper in the office. The secretary would start at 10 a.m. and leave at 2. And it's like looking back on it, I should have taken them as red flags, but I was blinded by the cash. I'm like, "You're going to pay me this much to only do 8 hours work? That's fucking sweet." I'm in. I don't care. So that went belly up pretty quick, and then I was back in the same position again. And at that point, we had actually bought a house. So we'd moved in, and paying off a mortgage now, so it wasn't just rent; it was
Yep.
a mortgage and
Yep.
everything else that came along with the home ownership. That,
Yep.
You know, you got your rates, you got your water, you got your busted door that you can't ring up the real estate for anymore. You got to
Yeah,
fix
yep.
yourself, sort of thing. The oven blows up, you got to pay for it, and it was even more stress on it at that time. But luckily, again, I just was at home and just smash and seek, and then this company got in contact with me. Originally, I thought it was a fraud. It was like a dude trying to get money out of me. Because they're Berlin based, and they sent me an email going, "Hey, jump on Google Hangouts and we'll have a chat at like 9 p.m. at night." I'm like, "No way, mate." And then he sent me.
Send us your bank account
Yeah,
details.
that's it. Oh, hello. And then he sent me a revised one with Australia time in the evening, which is Berlin's morning. I went, "Oh, right, I'll meet this guy and just see what he wants to get out of me." And then about 5-10 minutes into the interview, I realised it was actually a proper company.
Yeah.
And so then I'm on the laptop here doing my interview, and I've got my phone out here Googling what this company is and what they do. And then, and then I got, so he did the interview with me, and then I went and met the hub manager here. They had just started opening up. They opened up here January 2019, so I got in February.
Yep.
And I met her, got along well. She was pretty cool. Still is pretty cool, actually. She's still there. She's probably going to listen to this. So you are still cool, Ty. And then we got along, and then Berlin sort of rang me back at another meeting with my boss over there, and then started 2 weeks later there, and haven't left. Been happy ever since, and the company's grown and grown and grown and grown and grown. So there's still no sight of stop and grow. So.
Well, I've noticed like I've caught up with you a fair bit in the last couple of weeks, and seeing you now compared to whenever I would catch up with you when you were going through that hard time, you're a completely different person. Like it was tough. I think the last time I seen you before you got this new job was at a local pub. Do you even remember this? Oktoberfest?
Oh, fuck no.
Yeah, okay. But like,
maybe. Was it the start of it? No, it was,
this is a while ago.
I'm going to go with no.
No, but like I would run into Hobbsy, and most times it would be at a pub or drinking or whatever, and you know, I could just feel this aggression and anger in you. You know, like he was drinking to excess.
Yep.
And we'd be talking, but you'd be really like aggressive with me, not like wanting to fight me. But almost what you used to do, Shane, when you drink a fair bit, you'd be very much like Shane, where he'd be like saying things to antagonise me. You know what I mean? And then, you know, I'd be like, "Man, what are you talking about?" You're like, "I'm fucking around, I'm kidding."
Yeah.
And then you'd say something else, and I'm
Maybe
like,
it's just something about you.
maybe I'm just a dick. Yeah, but you know what I mean? And then, you know, I'd see Grace, or I'd talk to Grace, and she would say, "Yeah, you know, like he's drinking a fair bit. He's very angry." Now, when I see you, completely different person. I've drunk with you recently. No issues. No. You know what I mean? Like you just seem happier.
Yeah, I am a lot happier. Everything's starting. Yeah, it's good. The job is like, obviously, you spent 80% of your life working.
Yeah.
And I think at the moment, I've got no intentions of leaving.
Yep.
So, and I'm happy that I took it. I'm happy that I stayed there, even through this whole sort of Rona pandemic we got going on now.
We're working from home now.
Which is, didn't like it at the start. Now I'm loving it.
Yeah.
as I think most people are. But yeah, never really looked after us too. Like I think it's got a lot to do with the way like the company looks after you as well. Sort of thing. So
It makes a huge difference.
it does make a huge difference, and they talk about it being a family, and it honestly feels like a family. We do fight like a family. Like I do get the old yelly corporal voice come out a few times. They know me as Grumpy Matt when something sort of they do something wrong and all that sort of stuff, but they know what I'm like at the end of the day.
Well, you're always a pretty relaxed guy in general. Like you're not someone I've always associated with. You know, those guys who hang on to that military identity, like are really green and love being a side. Like even when I met you when we were in, you were never that kind of person. Like you always you seem like a truckie mate or a tradie.
It was a job.
It
wasn't a job. Even though when you're in the army, it consumes all your life. You used to know that. Still know that now. But I used to not try and take it home with me. Yeah. Like this job now, if I have a bad day at work, I won't bring it home with me. But the other jobs before this, I was bringing it home with me.
Yep.
And like being with the other the second removals company I worked for, getting the constant phone calls and all this sort of stuff was bringing it home with me, and I didn't want that. And that's where I think a lot of the anger comes.
And you probably,
to.
though, you were just doing jobs to be employed then. You weren't in a position you were really happy with, hey?
No, I was starting off in both the jobs.
Yep.
Both the removals jobs, I was happy.
Okay.
I was happy. And if the second removals company would have come to the party a bit, I'd probably still be there today.
Okay. Yep.
Like I was like the dudes I worked with was good, and the ladies I worked with were good. Or the removalists are the most easy to get along with blokes that you'll ever meet. Like even though they're rough and ready, they're good customer services because they have to talk to customers all the time, and it was good. And I think but they just again the hierarchy of that company was very much take from the bottom.
Yep.
Try and make as much profit for the investors as they could, which is the way companies work. But you've got to look after your employees to have a good company.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this company I'm working for now does. So yeah, it's good, and a good bunch of blokes and women.
Talking to, like, if you were talking to young diggers now, what would you tell them about setting themselves up?
Young Matt.
If you were talking to young Matt.
Jesus, put the beer down.
Young Matt in his mid-30s, what would you have told him?
Jesus, put the beer down and let's have a chat.
Because I know, like, from my experience, we were talking about this, Shane, the other day. I don't think I did tell this story on the podcast, but, like, last year when I was at work, and the partner I was working with, he's a reservist. He had to go onto Enoggera Barracks to pick something up from his office. So I said, yeah, I'll go with you. It must have been a public holiday or something because there was no one on base. And we're driving around. I hadn't been on Enoggera Barracks in years, so it looked all different. I started getting a bit nostalgic. And I said to him after he finished at his office, I go, hey, do you mind if we just swing by 6RR? I just want to see what the old place looks like. So we go there and there's no one around. And I was going to walk around, like, to have a look at all the companies and just have a sticky beak and just reminisce, I guess.
Just be a creep.
Just be a creep. Yeah, I'm in, like, full police get up and everything. We're in the marked police van. And he said, yeah, no worries. So we swing by. And I thought, I'll do the right thing and I'll go to the guard room. The guard room, you know, it's manned 24 hours by, 6-7 blokes. And their job is just to answer phones and be security for the unit. And it's just young blokes on bunk beds watching Foxtel, pretty much. Yeah.
And one dude in that little office.
Yeah, one dude sitting in the office answering the phones.
normally in the office.
So I said, swing by there. I'll just let them know what I'm doing so they don't think I'm trying to break in or I'm just some weird creep in a police uniform. So I go in and it was really weird because I didn't realise how much I've aged since I've got out. And it was like 6-7 kids. They look about 17, 18, just watching Foxtel. And I walk in, I'm like, hey, boys. And they weren't expecting a police officer to walk in. They all jump up real quick. They're like, oh, hi, sir. How you going? I'm like, yeah, good. Felt like, rest. Rest. Hey, rest, boys. All good. Just call me Tom. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Look, I used to be at 6RR like many years ago. Just popped in. Just wanted to know if it's all right if I walk around. Like, yeah, no worries. So they sent one bloke with me. And we're walking around talking. I'm looking at Delta Company and everything. And he's asking me questions about when I was in and, you know, the Afghan deployment. And because none of these guys have deployed. No. And there's nothing coming up on the horizon for them, which they were well aware of.
Barren wasteland now.
Yeah. So we walk back to the guard room. And I'm talking to all of them. They're asking me questions about my time. And then I asked them, oh, what are your plans? And, you know, the 18-year-olds are all like, yeah, I'm going to do Special Forces selection and join the SAS and everything. I'm like, hey, that's really good, guys. And then the wisdom in me comes out, and I'm thinking they want to hear this stuff because I'm Tommy Archer. And everyone wants to hear what I want to have to say.
You're like, when's this old guy going to go so we can go?
Yep, that's what I'm getting at.
I'm trying to watch me Foxtel.
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, guys, that's really good, and I hope you do it. Just remember, the infantry, you're not going to last forever in it. You know, don't be a lifer. Just start setting yourself up for the future. Start planning other things that you want to do. And as I'm saying this, I'm thinking,
Christ.
Yeah, these guys go, where's your notebooks, boys? Write this shit down. I could see the look in their eyes. They glaze over. A couple looked at each other. And I'm talking, and I can see I'm losing them. And I just kept talking. And then it hit a point. There's silence. I'm like, all right, boys, well, I'll leave you to it. It's nice to meet you. I got in the car, and I'm like, oh, my God, what are you doing? Shut the fuck up. I'm like, Simon, get me out of here, mate.
In the logbook, what happened on duty? Some weird old spoke to me.
So, yeah, I tried to impart some wisdom onto them. But, yeah, what would you tell young Matt when it comes to setting yourself up outside of Army?
Have a plan. Yep. Have the plan, as I spoke about. You need to have a goal. Not even doesn't have to be a big goal.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to. It just needs. When I get out, my first job is going to be. I don't know.
Potentially just a stepping
stone or whatever. It is like that. And there is a lot of companies and all that sort of stuff out there that want to help, that try and help. But I think they're just so overwhelmed that you get pushed down the line unless you really
Go for it. Yeah.
But what I probably would tell younger Hobbs if I was going to join the army again would go get a trade.
Yeah.
Get like your vehicle mechanic trade or helicopters, because you can fix helicopters. Like something that could be taken, like not fully. You only needed to go do like a full 6-month TAFE course and then you're fully qualified heavy vehicle mechanic sort of thing. Something like that. But if you want to go blow shit up, just go have fun, but have a plan.
Yeah. Well, that's it, because you can always do, 4, 5, 10 years or whatever, and then transfer later on into a trade, or if you like, hopefully there's positions available. But it's always something to think about, even if you have to go to RAF or Navy or something to do the trade. Like, you're better off having something, especially if you joined at 17, you've got no job experience whatsoever.
Yeah.
And they would not, after doing 4 or 5 years in the army, they wouldn't know what the real world's like.
As a combat corps or anything like that, where you don't have even something as simple as vehicle codes, like
any non-trade corps.
Yeah.
Like even if you're like in the warehouse in Rayok or whatever they're called, or you're Clark. What do they do?
It's been a while since I discharged on yourself, but I know that our army defense is trying to offer a lot more when guys are discharging, and like the courses they put on for you to explain what's in what you're entitled to. Like, I know I fobbed it off. Don't, because that shit's important. Like the amount of money that you can get depending on how many years you've served can like get you the conversion course you need. That's going to make you competitive when you do start applying for the jobs you may want. So
I think that's it. You've just got to. Your mindset's different when you're in. Try to just be open-minded about what else is out there, what else you need to do, and I think what we talked about last episode. Be good with your money, your deployment money. If you get a deployment, don't just buy a new car. Like, just try to have fun, but
you still gotta have fun with it. Like, if you do get a deployment, you're 6 months away from home. You're 6 months off the drink. You're 21 or 22, whatever. Put 10 grand of that aside. Piss that up.
Give
the
it
wall.
to your parents, or if you trust them.
Piss that 10 grand up the wall or whatever. Put 15 grand aside. Give that to your parents. Still leaves you whatever, and go on your holiday. Piss it up the wall. Buy the cars straight after they tell us not to buy the cars.
Yeah, mate. Yep. And hey, do we still have those cars? No, we don't.
No, we don't.
No, we do not.
No, we don't. Mine's rusting in a yard up in Townsville somewhere. So,
and some Kiwi bloke bought mine without getting it all checked out. So thank you, mate.
Yeah.
No, I got it serviced before I gave it to him, so that's all good.
I never got mine serviced.
No.
Old 80 series.
No. Did you? I've seen you writing some shit down, Madison. What do you write down over there?
Just notes for Instagram.
Oh, okay. No, I thought you had questions or something. No,
you started talking. She just started glazing over.
Who's that old copper again?
yeah.
I'm just like, Tommy,
Yeah. Yeah.
No, well, I think this episode obviously an important lesson for anyone that's still in. I think,
and don't take the army attitude out there. Like we do get sort of bred that we are the alpha males, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, you are army, you are the tip of the spear.
You're the best of the best. You can do anything.
You can do anything. You got your mates around you and teamwork and all that sort of stuff. Don't walk into the office and think you're the best of the best.
Have you had any clashes with anyone because of your army attitude?
Not trying to think now. No, but the job now knows that when Grumpy Matt comes out, that's when the old army corporal comes out. He tries not. I try not to come out too often, but it comes out when people need to get put back in their place.
Yeah.
But and again, like in the army, you're not dealing with the all sorts of different races and sexualities and everything else that you got to deal with in like real life as well.
Yeah, all the other factors.
All the other factors that come in as well. Like
because in the army, it's not like personalities aren't considered or. You as a human being,
you've got to toe the line. There's a baseline, regardless of whatever gender, sexuality, whatever it is. There's a baseline that everyone has to meet. Or should be fucking.
And you've all signed up for it.
Yeah,
it's like you're green.
Yeah,
you're nothing else. You're green.
Agreed to it.
That you develop as a soldier to deal with your section and the people in your section don't necessarily translate to civilian life. Like, you can't just be yelling at 65-year-old semi-retirees.
Yeah. The conversation Shane and I had when he joined the post office, I'm like, you can't talk to people like that. I've done customer service my whole life. You can't.
But I hate people.
Right.
So
So, yeah, that was good you got out of that position.
Yeah. Here's your mail. I hope you choke.
Here's your bill. It's late too.
Just keep putting it behind.
Yeah, no, and like they go in the army about learn from your mates and all that sort of stuff, but learn from like as many people as you can in the office. Learn about them. Learn what they what like mistakes they've made, what they're into, why there's certain things like we got a vegan, so we got a couple of vegans, we got a girl that only eats fish. I don't know what that's called. Episcopalian?
Yeah.
I always say Presbyterian.
That's a religion. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah. And then we've got same-sex couples married and all that sort of stuff. But like I'd never met two same-sex couples that have actually been married because it's only new in Australia and all that sort of stuff, and they're from overseas, and the information and the stories they had to tell is good as well. You know what I mean? And if you just do the army thing, you toe the line, you're green only, you shut yourself off from learning.
That's
all
right.
That around
that's
people.
What we've said before. Like I think a lot of guys, as soon as they get out, all they know is army, so all they want to talk about is army. And mate, you got to be open minded, have new experiences, have new types of friends. It probably helps out with you, Matt, that you have hobbies. You play footy for a civilian club. So it's still like a bloke's world, and you've still got a bit of alpha males, but those people have lives. You know what I mean? And you're talking to them on your piss trips or at the clubhouse, and you're learning about people. So you have those other things. It's a
different set of people and mates from your work as well. Like I found, especially when I was in Townsville, that the dudes I hung out with on the weekends, I was working with them as well, which was fine, but you don't have a disconnection.
Which is what you need.
Is what you need.
And it's the same with emergency services as well. You know, a lot of
like you go out in the beers on a Friday afternoon with the army boys, you're going to talk about army. You know what I mean? And then you do it with the same with the work, even though you try and steer it away from it. You start coming back to it. But then when you got an outside sort of hobby like rugby or something like that, it normally goes back to talking about rugby or certain other things to do with sport. And it's just a whole different atmosphere as well. Again, just learn. Don't close yourself off to the army mindset. It's not a good. If you want to. It's your choice. But to me, don't. And just once you're out, really think hard if you want to go back in, because there's a reason you got out to start off with.
That's right. Yeah. You got to bring yourself back to. You got to bring yourself sometimes
back into that. Am I going to reach that point again? How quick? Like I get back in 2 weeks later, am I going to be at that same point again?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So. Every person's different, but have a plan and put the beer down and. Put the beer.
Think about it the next morning.
Think about it the next morning. Yeah. If you're trying to do something when the screen's blurry because you're that drunk, it's not the best time to be doing it.
Good idea.
Oh, sure, we'll sign you back up. No worries.
I could have been on a Navy ship in 6 weeks' time.
How's a 6-year Rozzo sound?
Sounds great, mate.
Yeah, I'll do that. You're Darwin. Yeah, sweet.
No, well, I am very happy that, like I said before, looking at you now, you're in much better frame of mind, and you're going really well. So thanks again, mate, for coming on, and hopefully everyone watching or listening has got something out of this. Anything else, Shane?
No.
Awesome. We'll wrap it up then. Thanks again, Matt, for coming on, and until next time, this is the Maladjusted Monkeys. We're out.
Ooh.
Good. How's that, mate?
It's good.
Yeah, good job.
Try not to move the mic.
How long do you go for, son?